Okay, the next watch we're looking at today is a 6139 7080. So these are not one of the really popular ones that everyone's after, but they're a fairly unique model because they have a octagonal cases, octagonal or hexagonal I think, because 1, 2, 3, 6 sides, so it's hexagonal. So they're a model with a hexagonal case, and they do look quite unique because of the way that they're built. In not having a bezel, they come up actually fairly slimline at the end of the day, but you'll see from the side there they are a fairly beefy watch. The water resistance on this particular model was never that good. It was 30 meters, which is or 30 atmospheres, which is really graded to be about good enough to splash when you wash your hands, but not too much better than that. So if you've got one of these that doesn't have the bezel and just has the acrylic crystal, I definitely wouldn't dive with it or really do anything that involves any huge amount of water. These came on two different types of bracelets. So this is what they call the oval style bracelet, and you'll see a little sort of fitting there, which may not come up on the camera, but has a little tongue there which is meant to sit out, and it's meant to make sure that that doesn't flap around and that stays flat with the case. If I can just get it to do it. Yeah, it's meant to sort of sit like that. They did also come with a different style of bracelet, which was had sort of a trapezoidal shaped link. I've got one here somewhere which I'll put on camera one day, but yeah, they're not a bad bracelet. They're solid links on the ends and then folded in the middle, so that gives them a fair bit of heft, which is quite good. So having a look at the dial on this one, this is the black and silver dial. They also came out with a blue dial, which the one that I have has got the blue dial. The hand on that, from memory, is supposed to be orange, but I can look that up on the I've got all the part numbers and stuff for the hands, and I can work out what colour it was meant to be from that. But when you're looking at these, because the paint on the hand fading is quite a common problem, you'll see any colour variation from white to red to yellow and purple and all sorts of stuff. So as far as I'm aware, it was meant to be orange, but I'll definitely look into that. The crystal on this one's quite good. It probably doesn't need to be changed. That'll clean up quite well. You can see it there. So they're a Japanese style tension ring. They're a pretty good crystal, except when they're broken, obviously. So I tried this one before, and it does go and reset properly, which is good. That's really good news. That has just slipped a little bit on the, I'll actually point with my toothpick. So that's just slipped a little bit on the shaft that it runs on, but that should be sitting at 30. So if we just pull the crown and just try the date, actually these are a push, so if we just push the crown, so we get the date change there. The day is really squishy, so that's just going to be from dirt and dry oil. That will be fine once it's serviced. The cases on these, you can't do too much with them when cleaning them up, so if you polish them at all, you lose those edges there. So really all I do is just run some light metal polish over it just to try and take off some of the fuzzy sort of scratches, and then I'll leave it well alone after that. I'll just whiz the back off. The bracelet's going to need a little bit of repair as well. It's quite stretched and dirty and stuff, but that's fine, we'll sort that out. Now I did loosen this before. There we go. So that's the movement. So the movement's in really good condition, it's nice and clean, so that's usually a good sign. Now I can almost guarantee with this it's going to have the barrel arbor wear issue, as most of these movements do, which you're probably not going to be able to see here because it's got the extra bridge on there for the chronograph, but buried down in there is basically a brass, well, it's a rhodium plated brass drum basically, which has a spring in it, a coil spring, and when they wind up it winds that spring up, and that's what supplies power to the movement. What happens is the bearings on either side of that drum has a shaft that runs through the middle. The bearings on either side of that drum that it bears on, what SEIKO did is on the bottom they didn't use one, so it just ran straight into the main sort of body of the watch, and on the top it does have one, which is okay, but what often happens is the bottom will wear, which will put the drum, or barrel technically it's called, on a bit of an angle, which will then wear the top quite heavily. So usually you can get away with just doing the bottom one and that will solve the problem, but I have seen ones that are quite worn out on both sides, so sometimes both have to be done. So that all looks very clean in there, and I think that'll come up quite good. So I'll just put the back on and probably leave that one there. Anyway, I'll just put it back there. There we go. So yeah, I'll get back to you from there, and yeah, we'll talk more later.